You're listening to She's the Business podcast.
Do you know something really odd? I've been told for years and years that I should stop using a certain word in my marketing. And for years and years, I've listened to those people. I've tried to avoid using it. And the strange thing is that this week I came to the realization that actually I'm not going to avoid this anymore because it is ridiculous. And this is something so important. It is so incredibly important that I shouldn't not only just use it and stop avoiding using it, but I should really be embracing it and talking about it all the time. So you want to hear what this word is and why it's so important? Then please stay tuned.
Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and in my 23 years of business and marketing, I've built many brands to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And just in the last 10 years, I've built 2 online businesses of my own from my dining room table with 2 little babies running around at my feet. I've made it my mission to inspire you to get out of your own way and become the successful business owner who's living the lifestyle you really desire without all the hustle. This is She's the Business podcast, made by women for women. This is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast. So glad that you could join me today. Now, at this time of year, there is a word that is pretty much on everybody's lips or in everybody's minds. And it's really important, but it's also something I find a lot of people have an aversion to. So I wanted to deep dive into this word today, because if you're afraid of it, if you're avoiding it, then it's probably the worst thing that you could possibly be doing, because it means that you're avoiding the things that you need to do for your business. Have you guessed what this word is yet? Well, it's strategy. Now, we all know this word, strategy. Yet why is it so scary? Why do we feel, or why do so many people feel an aversion to talking about it? Or if they hear someone else mention the word strategy, they're like, oh, run for the miles, that sounds way too hard. Let's break it down and be really clear about it, because strategy is something that's not optional. It's not optional. If you're serious about being in business, if this business is something that you want to be your life, you actually want it to be, well, maybe not, it's not your life, but a part of your life, a real part of your life, where it is providing you with the means to live the lifestyle that you want. And, you've got a vision of how you can impact more people. And of course, being able to help more people and impact people means that you need a business that is profitable. Because when you're profitable, then you're able to expand your reach and the impact that you can create. Now, that means strategy is required. It is something that is 100% essential in any business, because what this word means, if we break down to the definition, what is strategy? Because maybe it's like this lack of knowledge. What does that really mean? What is a strategy? Well, we look at it like this. When we set the goalposts, we set the vision of where it is that we want to go. This strategy defines what it is that you're doing to get you there. How are you going to get to that outcome? So when we set the big goalpost of, well, I want to help, 100,000 people, or I want to make $100,000 a year, or whatever it is that goal is that you set. And, really to have a clear vision, it's ideal if you have a few elements to that goal. Like, what does it look like? Let's define success. Okay, we've defined it. Right. So how are we going to get there? What is that business? What does it need to look like to get me to that outcome? And that is your strategy, really simply. So it is big picture, it is visionary, but there are elements to it when you start to break it down. So it can become now, instead of being contextual, instead of being this concept, we can look at it as, well, what are the elements that go into a strategy? How do we know if we've created one? I think a lot of the confusion comes from when we're looking at business tactics and things that we do in marketing that are activities or tactical level. And people say, well, we need a strategy for your social media. We need a strategy for your email. And yes, each element can have its own strategy, which really means define how you're going to use it. how are you going to use this? What does the success look like for social media? What does success look like for email? Then define how you're going to use that. Okay, then the implementation of that tactic is a tactical level thing. So there is strategy within your business at all different levels. It's not anything to be afraid of, because what it means is clarity. It means that you're clear on what you're doing, how you're going to get there, and then you can start to put in place the actions that you can take, which is not your strategy that's so much, that is much more on the tactical level, right? So I've got my strategy. Now I know what I need to be aiming for. I know what the milestones are. I know how I'm going to get there. Now I can start to take the actions. I thought I'd break down for you a little bit more about what strategies place is in a business. There are really 3 areas to a business. Shall I call it an area? Maybe that's not the right word. 3 parts of a business. One is strategy. It is the cornerstone of any business. Every business needs a strategy. Where is it that you're going? If you don't have a strategy, you're like flying a plane without a flight path, without a destination, without a map, without any navigational tools. Like, where is it that you're actually going? No one's just going to go up into the air and start flying. You, of course, need to know your destination first. That's the strategy. The second is marketing. That's the other really important part. Now you know what you're heading for, you know how you're going to get there. Well, in order to have a business that's profitable, that's creating revenue, you need to have marketing, because that's how you get clients. And the third part of your business is your execution. And of course, this is how you are doing it. How are you getting leads, sales? How are you operating for your customers? Once you've got a customer signed up, what are those processes that you're going to use in your business to execute on the promise that you made during the lead generation phase? So they're very simply the 3 main parts of a business. As you can see, the strategy is super important, because you can't have the marketing or the execution without the strategy. You need to know what you're marketing, and you need to know what that execution should look like. Where are we even going? You need the strategy defines it all. Now, let's break down the strategy piece, because I really want to blast away any of this fear that we've got about talking about strategy. I want to hear that word and people to think, yes, I want to have my strategy, because I know that that's the one thing I need in my business. I really need a strategy over and above anything else. Once you have a strategy, you can pick and choose the right marketing activities to use, okay? Because you know what it is that you want to achieve. For example, if we said, right, well, I want to have 100 clients in a year. How am I going to get them? How could I have 100 clients in a year? Well, I could use a Facebook page, and I could do certain activities on a Facebook page. Is that going to get me those results? Your strategy will help define whether that's the right choice for you or not. You might go, well, we actually need volume. We don't have enough followers on the Facebook page. So using that isn't going to be a good strategy, because we're not going to have enough reach. Therefore, we need to look at activities that will give us exposure to brand new people in places that haven't yet connected with us. So then you're going to be looking at those things like ads, or leveraging connections with other people, collaborations, maybe doing some PR. Things like that are going to get you in front of new audiences. Now, do you have a strategy that can get you to the goal, the outcome? And the closer, when you start putting those numbers in and seeing, well, what's going to get me there? What's going to be that best flight path? Am I going to go the direct way, or am I going to have, 10 stop-offs on the way? Well, we all want to go direct. We want to go there the fastest way with the least stop-offs, because it's far less exhausting. So when you can apply the different options that you've got and look at them strategically and just define what strategy you're going to use, then you're using strategy to get you to your destination. Now you know what you're doing. You can ignore all the rest and you can get on with it. So I hope you've been enjoying this so far. Maybe you're starting to feel like that word, let's say it again, this word strategy isn't so big and complicated and scary and like, oh my God, freaking out. It's actually really, really simple. Setting a path, drawing a line to it. What is the best line? We want to get that straightest line, the shortest line between the 2 points. That is what you're doing to define your strategy. Now, there are elements that go into a strategy. And I guess when I'm looking at my business framework that I use inside Business Jam and with my private clients, we break down the strategy into two really primary areas. And then we've got a whole piece on the marketing, like how you're communicating that. And then two pieces that are actually about the execution. So we're looking at this overall as the whole strategic roadmap of your business. Now, the two core pieces of strategy that are really important that we need for every single business are the whole who the market is, like what it is that we're selling, who we're selling it to, why, when, where, and then your actual structure of that service offering, the pricing around it, the real product strategy. So we talk product strategy, that's regardless of whether it's a service or a product, the strategy around what it is that you're selling, which is intrinsically linked to who, where, why, how you're selling it, right? Because when we mash these two together, then we get to the right strategic mix of who you're targeting, what you're selling to them. Because when these two things are really well aligned, when you're selling the right service to the exact people who want it, they already want it, they already desire it, they've got a need for it, and it's at the right price point, then the other parts are almost too easy. It's so much easier to build your messaging when you know exactly who you're speaking to. You've already got something that they want, and it's literally just a matter of, inviting them to take it. Then your execution with your marketing and sales systems are the pieces that we put in place so that we can bring these people in, so that we can invite them to have a look at what you're offering, so we can bring them into our world and help them to make those decisions. So as you can see, we break that down. Wow, how much easier is that? Now, if you'd love to know more about these 5 sort of key pieces of a business, so I broke down the original 3, your strategy, marketing, execution, into 5. Your market, your service, product, strategy, your marketing, which is the messaging, how you're communicating it, then your marketing and sales systems. I broke that down into 5 because I find that it's easier to think about as 5 separate things, as opposed to when we're bunching it all into 3, it's still too high level. So I go into these 5. These are what I call the 5 keys to actually having clients on tap, to having clients streaming into your business. And who wouldn't want that? We're not in business to be chained to the laptop, to be working so hard. I know when I started my business, it was 100% to have more free time, more flexibility and freedom. I didn't want to be tied down to a certain number of days of annual leave in a year and to be only able to go on holiday for that amount of days. If you're watching me right now on the video on YouTube, then you'll see I'm recording this from inside my caravan, where I'm currently on holiday with my family, with my husband, my 2 kids. We are traveling around Australia. We've got down to the south coast. So we're about, let's see, from home, maybe we've covered a quarter or just over a quarter of the country's coastline so far. And it's amazing. Yes, I'm still running my business. So while we're on holiday, I'm actually also running a business. I'm recording podcasts for you. I'm serving my clients, but I've got this down to an art where it takes me an hour or so a day. Some days I do very little. Other days I get in a few hours because I've got the ability to have the husband take the kids off somewhere. So I've got a bit of quiet time to work. But the point is that it's so flexible. I can do it when it suits me. And it's not something that's out of reach at all. I actually designed the business to be this way in the first place, because as I just said, that was the reason why I got into business, was to have a life, to be able to live my life right now, not to have to wait until some point in the future where I think, well, now I've done enough years, or, I've saved up enough money, whatever, now I can start living my life. Like, no, well, what if my life ends next week? Well, I don't want to have not done all the things I want to do. I want to be maximizing every day, every week, every minute, and really enjoying my life to the max right now. And I thought, well, why can't I have it all at once? Why can't I have my cake and eat it too? Why can't I have the business and the life experience that I want to be having? Which became so much more important as soon as I had kids. And I'm sure that if you're also a parent, you can relate to that 100%, because wow, don't the years go by quickly. Yeah, the days are long, the years are short. Nothing can be truer than that statement. Really, wow, time is flying by, and I want to make sure that my kids have a childhood that is just extraordinary. If I have any part that I can play, any control in it, then I want to make sure it's one that they absolutely love. So I've got off the topic of strategy, haven't I? Went down tangent lane for a little bit. I have always a few notes for my episodes, but I do like to just share what's sort of coming up for me. And today I felt this real need to talk about strategy. I actually was told this was something, that so many times people have told me over the years that not to mention strategy, to avoid talking about it because people are scared of it. It's like this big word. And they said, don't talk strategy because people don't really understand it and they're afraid of it. They're scared of strategy. And I've been sitting there, for the last week or two thinking, well, I've really tried hard to make it easy to not use that word so much. But it's pretty hard when that's actually what I do. So, when I work with clients, I'm not down there in the tactical level showing them how to create an email and send it out. I'm up there at the strategic level. I want to be helping you create the vision for your business and really achieving it. That is where my niche is. That is where my expertise is in the strategy. I'm the big picture vision person. I love to connect those dots. I love to pull the pieces of strategy that people have together into alignment, actually click them into place so that they really work. And so often it's like that's all it's required. They're actually doing a lot of the right stuff. The reason it's not working is because the strategy is not in alignment. They just need to, adjust a bit here, redefine a bit here, pull this bit in, and then get these pieces clicked into alignment and functioning like they're working actually together instead of being separate pieces that have been decided on at different times. And they're like, I don't know, they're like pieces of a jigsaw that are five different jigsaws. We want pieces from one jigsaw all put together so that they actually connect and work to create the whole picture. That's what I do. Why would I want to avoid talking about strategy when it's what I do? So I've decided I am no longer going to avoid it. I'm going to be talking strategy. I already do in many ways, but we're really going to deep dive a lot more into different parts of your strategy. And I'm going to embrace it because I know that the kind of person I want to work with, when I'm niching is a key area of strategy. It's what I love to talk about because it's so pivotal. If you haven't done the niche, it's like the number one key that you need to unlock that unlocks all the other pieces of strategy. It actually is what allows you to bring them together into alignment. My niche are people who are professional. They're well educated, they're experienced, they've got expertise. They want to have a business. They want to have it easy. They want to work part-time hours. They want to be earning really great money in those part-time hours. Well, and they know that they need a good strategy in order to get there. They're not afraid of strategy. So my people are people who know that they need a strategy. They're not afraid of it. They actually really want it and they seek it out. And that's often why they're attracted to me, because they read my stuff and they think, yes, I really need to do this at this deep level, this high level, big picture stuff. Yes, it is your role as the CEO of your business. This is your primary role. No one else can do it for you. Half the stuff that you may be filling your day with right now, you can outsource. You can outsource so much of your business. It's not even funny. But the one thing you cannot outsource is your strategy. No one else can tell you what your business vision should be and how to get there. Only you can decide that. And you're the best person to know it because you're the one that really understands at the core, more than anyone else ever will, what it is that you're bringing to people, who you're helping, how you're helping them, your real value. You're the only one who really gets it, who really understands your ideal clients to the level that you need to in order to build the right strategy. So instead of walking away from it, instead of trying to shut it in a cupboard like it's some kind of goblin or monster and we want to this strategy, put it back in the cupboard, let's get it out. Because when you open that cupboard and look at it, it's not going to be a big scary monster. It's actually going to be like a cute, fluffy, but very clever I don't know, cat, let's say, because cats are so clever. So it's going to be a cute, clever cat. And you're going to really love the fact that you know it. Because when you know your strategy, you know how to put the pieces of it together, you kind of feel so much more empowered, so much more clear on, really what you're doing and why you're doing it. You don't need to just then follow someone else's steps without sort of really understanding the point of them or why they've chosen those steps. You will know what they are. You can then decide, well, yeah, I don't really think that step is the right one for me in my business. I'm going to do it this way instead. You've got that vision, you've got the knowledge, you've got the ability and the empowerment to drive your business your way, which, by the way, means you can start making better decisions. So that's it from me today. I think we have talked strategy. I would love to see how many times I've mentioned that word in this episode. I hope that you're loving to hear it, because we need to talk about it more in these business circles. We really need to embrace strategy. No more running away from it. What kind of business are we running? What kind of business owner are we showing up as? If we're afraid of strategy, we should actually be not afraid at all, be thinking strategy is my best friend. It's what I get up in the morning, I put on my strategic hat, because when I'm looking through those eyes, then I'm making the best sort of decisions for my business. So I hope you've loved it. Please leave me a note, contact me on the DMs. I love to hear from you. I love the chat that I get and the feedback I get on Instagram or Facebook even. Send me a message. You'll find me at jessica.osborne on Instagram. So dive into my DMs. Let me know your thoughts on this episode. And if you actually want some more help with the parts of your strategy and how you align them and what all that looks like, then I invite you to take up my free training. You can get it on my website right now. It's called The 5 Keys to Clients on Tap. You can head to jessicaosborne.com/TMF to get on the list and to go through this. I go through it in a lot more detail than what I've just done now. It's about an hour long. I cover a lot in that training. So you'll get a workbook, spend that hour. It's a good hour of your time that's spent really wisely getting to understand what these pieces are, how they connect, why we need each of them. And from there, you can take that next step forward, hopefully be looking at this year with a lot more clarity, putting that CEO hat on your head. Even if it's just you and your business, guess what? You're wearing all the hats. You are wearing the CEO one. Let's make sure that that's the main one that's on your head and that you've got that firmly on there before you're putting the other hats on top of it. And yes, I look forward to seeing you in the training. Otherwise, you'll hear from me again next week. Thank you for joining me on She's the Business podcast today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Bye for now.
Do you know something? There are so many people that are overcomplicating their marketing, which means that they're running on the marketing treadmill, pumping out so much content, but still not yielding those results, meaning there are no clients actually signing up. Like, what use is an audience if they're not an audience of buyers? What use is it creating great content to share if the people who are reading it have no desire to take that next step to actually working with you? Well, if any of those things are happening for you right now, then it's highly likely that you're simply missing a key in your marketing strategy. And those keys are really simple. There are just 5 of them. And it's about how you align them, put them together. That is the simplicity that makes everything work, just like clockwork, so that you have a consistent stream of what you would consider your dream clients, literally turning up in your inbox, ready to have a conversation, ready to sign up with you without you going out there to find them. So let's put an end to cold outreach. Let's put an end to searching for clients in Facebook groups. Let's put an end to just waiting around and relying on referrals to come through from other people. Because when you have that consistent stream of clients, then you're in the place of being able to choose. You've got an abundance of opportunity out there, and all we need to do is turn on the tap for your clients to find you. So I've created a brand new training, and it's called 5 Keys to Clients on Tap. So you can guess what it's about, can't you? Well, this 1-hour short training takes you through those 5 critical keys that you need to have in your business so that you do have clients on tap, and not just any old client, the ones that you most want to be working with, that are going to make you profitable, that are going to fulfill you, are going to make you feel like jumping out of bed every morning because you love your business so much. So you want in? All you need to do is head to jessicaosborne.com/TMF for the magnetic formula. So TMF, and get yourself into the next session that's running for this training. You honestly will not regret it. It is going to change your business, your life, if you've been experiencing any of those problems I mentioned before. Look forward to seeing you in there, and let's do this.